Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Migrantes Deportees Talk Spanglish. Real stories, real things that actually happened to us while, uh, you know, living in the United States. And actually, on my last video that I made, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Where actually I was, sharing what I lived in the United States. And actually, like I mentioned, I was going to a school where at that point I didn't know English, but after that whole year being in third grade, I actually learned how to speak the language. And when I was already fourth and fifth, I already knew English, so I caught on quick, and that's something I put in my mind. Set up, make sure I actually learn right away. But also, when I was in fourth, I remember I started doing the same thing, picking on other people, other kids, other races, because I already knew the language, and I felt like it was time to pay back, and that happened, But in Texas, there was a lot of racism going on. Texas is just like that, and it was hard at that point back in the '80s, '90s, and actually, I remember, you know, um, maybe already in fifth grade, I was just picking on different, trying to just get in trouble, basically, stuff that happened. You know, Uh, I lived in a neighborhood where there was already a gang started, and I started kicking with the homies. Got jumped in, started drinking, getting high, and I remember actually, uh, you know, already when I was already going to junior high school, sixth grade. I remember, even got worse because we're growing up, more partying, more doing, no up to no good. Already jumped in the game, you know, doing drive-bys, doing all kinds of stuff, slanging, doing, trying to make a little hustle. You know how that is. And, I remember one time we were kicking it at the school, like on the weekend, we just up to no good. And I remember one of the homeboys sat down and, like, as soon as he leaned back, like, the door popped open for the school, and we ran in there. And then one of the homeboys went and got some spray cans and spray painted all the school, tagged our name, our gang name. But Monday comes around, we got in trouble. I wasn't too smart. We got in trouble. Principal was always already mad, at us. We're always in trouble. We're always skipping school. Since I was the one that was more cerquitas living there, just unas cuatro cuadras de la escuela. They actually everybody would go kick it at my house, and that was like the spot to skip school. And just up to no good. And I remember sometimes we'd get busted, and then they would go take us back to school, the officers and stuff like that. But, I remember one time, being in school, and the teacher or the principal was already fed up with us. He made a racial comment, that he hated Mexicans. So I remember that point. Actually, that got to me and got to my mind, and I got me a lot of hate already. So I hated that principal, because I thought he was just trying to, be on us all the time, and like for no little reason, he was always had us on the lookout. So I remember, like the last day of school, like the very last day of school, I took a 22 revolver with a whole bunch of bullets, like a big old bag full of bullets. I don't know why, but I had that mind, and I remember, honestly, I was gonna handle business, and things were gonna get ugly at school. After I was like, I'm gonna wait to last minute, like once we're already out, and run up in that office and handle business. But like already going towards we had two more classes to go to, and on the second class, um, I remember I was in the room already in the classroom, and everybody was coming in, and for some reason, I got up and the strap fell out of my waist, and one of those girls saw, and she was like, she got scared, and I saw that she got scared, and I told her, hey, don't snitch on me, if you do, man, I might get crazy with you as well. No, no, I ain't gonna snitch. I'm like, yeah, don't say nothing, it's just for my protection, just chill. So she's like, no, no, I'm good, I'm good. But actually, um, I kept an eye on her. It didn't look like she was gonna, snitch on me. But then on the last class that we had, I guess she went to go tell the principal because, and I thought about it, but I'm like, nah, I think everything's good. And like 10 minutes before the class was over, cop goes in there with the principal, and they get me out of school, out of the room, take me to the restroom, and pat me down, and they found the gun. And I go to the principal's office. More cops get there. They have me in front of the school. They throw the gun in a bag, in a plastic bag, and pour it towards my, front chest and take a picture of me. And then they had me like, hey, throw some of your gangs. And I was there throwing all the gang signs. You know how it is. Thought I was hard, and everybody, all my, everybody from school was like, hey man, what happened? What'd you do? Hey man, that's crazy. You going to jail? And I got handcuffed and thrown in the cop car, and that was like my first time. And at first, I was scared, but I felt like I was hard, like, yeah, what's up? Everybody looking at me, but it's just a, dumb thing. I got taken to the police station in Irving, and actually they took me there, and at that point, they called my parents. They didn't get there. One of my other family will pick me up. One of my aunts, and you know how that went when my parents got home. So that's how I started that life, and that's what I want to share with you right now. And I'm gonna be sharing more videos about my life and you know what happened during my life there and how I got back deported to Mexico and what caused me. And and I'm also gonna give you stories here about what happened here in Mexico. So stay tuned in, share with somebody, with the young guys, because se va a poner bueno, and para que esos jóvenes or youngsters out there don't get lost like we did. And we just wanted to give an advice from an OG that went through a lot. And stay tuned in. Peace out.